During my teenage years, there was a time where I felt alone and kind of empty. Going to school and just existing in general seemed meaningless. I had interests like watching YouTube, playing video games, or listening to music, a kind of escapism that distracted me from these things. But at the end of the day, I still had these underlying thoughts which caused a lack of motivation for me. Even if there would be future events to look forward to, when I was in this mental state, I imagined no experience would truly be a good one, which further made everything seem pointless. I wondered, what's the point to all of the temporary things we get to experience? As I was facing these inner questions and struggles, I came across a GMV or AMV, which stands for Game or Anime Movie, from Hyrule Warriors on YouTube. It featured a song by Skillet. I liked the game and music a lot, and through this I discovered the band Skillet. Hi, I'm May, and you may be wondering, why am I telling you all of this? First, it would be because today's video will feature some illustrations inspired by songs from Skillet. Then it would be because I think every one of us has to come to terms with our own mind at some point, being alone with your own thoughts, being shaped by them. Especially as a teenager, this was difficult for me. But through the experience, you learn a lot for the future, and I want to share some of my own experiences as it also connects to Skillet's music to me. As someone very introverted who spent a lot of time invested in media when growing up, I myself have learned a lot through Skillet's music and through YouTube, from coming across other people's thoughts, ideas and experiences through YouTube videos. Because I have learned a lot from videos, I thought I'd share some things I learned over the course of many years in this video as well, as a kind of give and take. Each one of us is unique, but we can take what we see and apply it for our own lives, improving day by day this way. The illustrations for today's video will feature a variety of characters across multiple fandoms. I'd look forward to hearing from you which of the characters I'll draw, and maybe which of the themes or songs the artworks are based on you, like most. Before we start with the first illustration, I'd like to mention that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is a learning platform for creatives. You can find classes on art, business or social media on there, for example, taught by humans for other humans. Some time ago I took the class Character Illustration, Drawing Faces, Figures and Clothing by Gabriel Piccolo. I liked seeing his step-by-step process of developing a character design, from figure drawing to outfit selection to color schemes. He mentioned some helpful tips along the way, for example, how important the hips and the spine are for capturing poses and movement, or the significance of genuine expressions. It really helps me to hear other artists' thoughts from time to time, to reflect on my own drawings and figure out how I'd like to draw. Even with the illustrations I'll talk about today, while drawing them I get to try out some of the ideas or concepts other artists mention to refine my own drawing process over time and improve in art. That's why taking classes like this one, which also focuses on characters, what I personally enjoy drawing the most, was very enjoyable to me. Skillshare is the best place to learn a creative skill or pick up a new hobby. If you were looking to reconnect with your creativity and maybe avoid brain rot, Skillshare is where humans come to learn from other humans. If you'd also like to give Skillshare a try, the first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. I recommend focusing on a class and a topic you're already very invested in, such as me with the character illustrations. Alternatively, you can even try something completely new, which can also be very valuable. I find I can take many different areas and interests and put them into my work as an artist, since these other areas can serve as unique inspiration. Now back to the video. Let's start with the first illustration. For this I imagined the characters would be sitting around a table, or rather kind of floating as well. It's not supposed to be a realistic kind of setting, because I find I enjoy using the medium of illustration to create these dreamlike imagined scenarios. The characters here are playing a game, and the song that inspired this artwork would be Savior by Skillet. The song starts with statements like "I'm everything you wanted" and "I am the one who's haunting you." And then something that especially amazes me: "I am the eyes inside of you stare back at you." This reminded me a lot of what I mentioned at the start of the video, coming to terms with one's own mind. The eyes inside of oneself, to me that connects to one's own mind. Eyes inside don't observe the outside world, but what's inside of oneself, thoughts. Now I won't go and analyze every lyric of the song. A few other lyrics that I really like would be "Don't hesitate, no escape from secrets on the inside," and toward the end, "I'm watching you 'cause you need me." And that connects to the topic of the song, a savior appearing. A savior that is even there on the inside, that knows all the things inside of oneself. We can try to put our own thoughts into words and share them with the outside world, but we're not able to make other people fully understand everything in our own minds, how we think, how we perceive the world, and so on. That's why this idea of a savior appearing that even knows those deepest inner parts is fascinating to me. Especially when I think about how alone I felt during my teenage years, this idea is powerful to me. Also, the aspect with this savior haunting you speaks to the fact that we all search for purpose. We don't just want fulfillment on the outside world, on the surface level. No, for the outside experiences to be truly meaningful, we also have to find meaning on the inside. This question of purpose and wanting there to be more than just this temporary life, than this surface world, that is something that seems to be embedded into every human. Now a bit more about the characters I drew. These would be Mammon from Obey Me, Aventurine from Honkai Star Rail, Dice from Hypnosis Mike, Rinne from Ensemble Stars, and Noritsune from Birushana. These characters all are kind of playful and materialistic to me. They seem very practical, seeking thrill, entertainment, profit, and possessions. However, instead of the possessions fulfilling these characters, it is more on the contrary. They may be or get addicted to them, to money, the thrill of gambling, or to obtaining wealth. They may want to seek more and more, trying to fulfill their most inner needs with something that isn't able to do this in the first place. Rinne's character song is titled Thrill Addict. For example, he likes to go to casinos, and Dice basically constantly asks for money from his group members to continue gambling. Mammon, as the avatar of greed, shows a particularly clear example of wanting more and more without feeling fulfilled. I imagine the topics the song Savior addresses would be something that may kind of throw these characters off at first. It may be uncomfortable because it would mean having to place less importance on these thrills, possessions, or money. But if they give it a chance, they would be able to realize that worldly possessions, such as money, are all temporary, and that they won't be able to truly fulfill them in the long run. That is something that these characters would benefit from learning about. I'm not saying that playing games, doing some thrilling activities, or even being grateful for obtaining money, wealth, or possessions is bad. It's more about learning to enjoy these things if they are part of your interests, while not depending on them for fulfillment. Because that way you can find lasting inner fulfillment that does not depend on luck or temporary things. Let's move on to the second illustration. The poses here feature some raised hands. Lyrics-wise, the song connected to this artwork also includes "raise your hands" many times. What do you associate the act of raising one's hands with? To me it reminds me of Class 4-1, where you had to raise your hands when you have something to say. It allows for a structured way to participate, as opposed to everyone speaking whenever something comes to mind, which could lead to chaos. Then raising hands connects to concerts or Praise to Me, where you often raise and move hands with the rhythm. Something I also found out about when researching why we raise our hands is that people can raise their hand during an oath. Raising the right hand during an oath symbolizes honesty, truthfulness, and a formal commitment to speak truthfully, rooted in historical, religious, and legal traditions. In a way, the gesture of raising the hands has something powerful connected to it. You don't just do it out of nowhere, except for when exercising or holding onto the bus and train handrails maybe. Now, what is raising one's hands in the song here all about? The song is called Sick of It, and it talks about realizing one's own faults, flaws, and imperfections, being depressed, having no purpose or meaning in life, one's own negative mindset, such things, and then being sick of these things. Here are some of the lyrics. First, some passages about realizing the problems. When everything you do don't seem to matter, you try but it's no use, your world is getting blacker. And another passage would be, I'm running out of time for me to break this, I'm tired of feeling like I'm never going to make it. Next passages about being sick of the problems. First, take control, it's now or never. Are you sick of it? Raise your hands, get rid of it, while there's a fighting chance. Then there's this passage as well. Have you had enough regret? Take a stand, raise your hands if you're sick of it. And finally we have this passage. I'm tired of it, I'm over it, I'm bored of it. Got to fix this, I'm sick of it. Raising hands in this song is about admitting own weaknesses, insecurities, imperfections, and so on at first, and then getting rid of them through this. The first step to overcoming problems tends to be recognizing them in the first place, recognizing them as problems, that is, which motivates you to want to get rid of them. This can lead you to actually look into methods and ways to overcome those problems, and through this you can take real steps toward change, eventually getting rid of the problems. No one's life and no person is perfect. We all have faced our facing and will face different struggles during our lives with our changing experiences, circumstances, and time. That's why the message of this song, being able to overcome the struggles you face, is valuable to me. It shows us that we can get rid of these things, that there is hope for a better future. The song admits that we all have things we want to get rid of, problems we want to overcome, and it addresses how we can overcome them, needing to really get tired of these things, to recognize them as problems, and to fix them. When it comes to raising hands, I mentioned how it can symbolize that you have something to say and that you want to speak honestly, saying the truth. Just imagine being in a group with people and saying something versus saying something while also raising both hands. The gesture somehow seems to make what you say more significant, important. It may connect to how we also use body language and not just the words we speak to communicate. Now, connecting this to the song, raising hands here could mean that you're not just saying that you want to fix a problem, but outwardly expressing this with your body as well. It could symbolize, for one, the importance of truthfully admitting problems and struggles, allowing these things to matter by also gesturing when talking about them. Additionally, raising hands can also stand for the first step of taking action against these problems, taking a stand against them. Words matter, yes, but without also including and taking action, it's difficult to change something. Through words, we can formulate thoughts and ideas, and through actions, we can realize those thoughts and ideas. Let's now talk about the characters I drew. All of them are bold and assertive, placing value in profit and controlling things or people. They're confident, dominant, and tend to speak up quickly. They like it when things go according to one's own plans. On the top left, we have Juto from Hypnosis Mike, a police officer whose job is focused on all of this as well. To his right is Ibarra from Ensemble Stars, who can seem like he only cares about excelling with his idol group. I remember one quote from the anime where he said, "You don't understand, I don't have the right to accept human joy." He appears sociable on the outside, but it is mostly to achieve his own ambitions and goals. He's a very strategic person, and it's a bit similar with the next person on the lower left side. This would be Azul from Twisted Wonderland, the dorm leader of Octavinel. He likes to make contracts with people and being able to control the circumstances around him through this. To him, it's what he gets power and even confidence or self-worth from. Finally, on the right lower corner is Alest from Radiant Tail. He's the protector and main guard of the Prince of the Land. He's very responsible and protective of the Prince, placing a high importance on the safety and well-being of him. Especially when looking at Ibarra and Azul, something I see is how they seem to base their confidence, meaning and purpose around achieving one's own ambitions and goals through profit for their own idol group or dorm, for example. Juto, as a police officer and also member of a rap group, may have a similar tendency, as he seems to be very invested in his work for one, but then also the rap group, making it successful. For Alest, this appears in his work as guard of the prince as well. All of them are very ambitious, striving to excel at their professions or roles. To do this, they can try to put on a perfect image that suits this so that they may appear successful, steering what they work for in a positive direction if possible. I wonder, without these ambitions and goals, if they didn't have their profession or role, what would happen? Would they feel meaningless? To return to the topic of the song, it's about realizing imperfections, something these characters skillfully would want to get rid of and cover up to maintain their high position. The issue is that what they work for, the idol group, the dorm, and so on, it's all temporary. It could vanish. It features many aspects that are also out of their control. That's why tying their self-worth and meaning to it can be dangerous. By admitting this as a problem, the tendency to see one's own worth in achievements, which could fade and are not guaranteed, no matter how hard you work, they could overcome this. Overcoming this would mean not having to depend on things like work to feel meaningful. It's nice to be ambitious and hardworking, but there's a border where it can become dangerously excessive, damaging one's own self-image. As kind of workaholics, it may help them to realize that they shouldn't place or find their main purpose in temporary things dependent on own achievements. These achievements will never be perfect because humans, or even these characters as human creations, aren't perfect. Overcoming this struggle by taking a stand against their ambition-driven nature, raising their hands and letting go of some of the control and work, that's how they may be able to learn to find true fulfillment. Something I also was thinking about when it comes to these characters and the song is that Juto, Ibarra, Azul and Alest, they are all already pretty good at taking charge and standing up for something. The energy of the song of being bold, it fits to them with how outspoken they tend to be, also often realizing and pointing out flaws in the outside world. If they use this attitude towards their own self-image with a more inward focus, it could be a valuable lesson. After the second song, I'll return to one from the same album as the first song. This one is called Collide, just like the album itself. One thing that stands out about the lyrics to me is this passage: "We are healing, but it's killing us inside, and can we take a chance when faith and fear collide?" What I interpret this as is that there is something powerful in overcoming your fears. It is difficult. With the "we are healing" part, I see this as facing fears, and then "but it's killing us inside." It shows how facing those fears is scary and difficult. We all know some things in life where we could improve, where we made mistakes and so on, but this doesn't have to remain as a negative memory only. The "can we take a chance when faith and fear collide" shows this. When you view those fears through faith, you can learn from them and grow as a person. Faith gives you hope that even though you have made mistakes and will continue to make them in the future, that those mistakes can turn into something good, that you can learn from them. When we allow ourselves access to that faith, we can learn to face our fears with hope, knowing that we don't have to be perfect, but also that we have the potential to become better over time. The main lyric of the song Collide, what gets repeated most often, would be this: "There's something deep inside that keeps my faith alive." What I like about this is the fact that what keeps the faith alive is inside, deep inside of oneself, not outside, not something you can grasp in the temporary outside world, something that can disappear or fade away. The fears you face, they can disappear, especially with time and experience. But when it comes to the source of faith, this is not the case. It gives a lot of hope because it means that this hope is bigger than any fear. That any fear can be overcome through hope, and that you can always carry that faith and hope with you, no matter where you are. In a sense, I find the concept of consciousness as humans, something we cannot only describe physically, but something that is inside each one of us, relates to this. You may have heard of the concept of a soul. It's not something we would locate anywhere in the body. Yes, we can analyze the brain to determine some biological facts about our minds, but through only this, we can't fully describe the experience of being human. There seems to be this transcendent aspect that was given to us. We seek for more than this life. We want meaning behind what we do, behind why we exist. And when we find such a meaning that transcends the temporary life and world, we can find the hope described in this song, the faith that allows us to take a chance and heal when facing the fears deep inside of us. The song also describes how in our outside world or inside of us, we are often faced with challenges. This is right at the start of the song with these lyrics. We have fallen again tonight. Where do we go from here? When they're tearing down our lives? When all they want is for us to live in fear. With the "they" in this part of the lyrics, I'm not sure what or who exactly is addressed. When trying to interpret it myself, I would describe it as embodiments or personifications of struggles, problems, or challenges we encounter through people, experiences, or thoughts. For example, maybe, how would you see this? I'd like to hear your thoughts. You can leave a comment with them if you'd like. Also, maybe you'd like to reflect on a fear or struggle you're currently facing inside of you. That could be something like feeling like you need to seek recognition from others, making your worth depend on material possessions or achievements, or needing to be in control of outcomes or people to feel secure or fulfilled. Whether it's something that you are facing inside of you or in the outside world, there is a solution to all of these fears or struggles, a solution much bigger than any of them, a faith that you can find and keep alive deep inside of you. We as humans experience life in the outside world and process it in our inside world through our consciousness. It shapes and affects how we perceive everything. So when you have this faith that can overcome anything deep on the inside, it can change how you perceive everything for the better if you let yourself collide with that faith, and if you let the faith that you found and keep alive on the inside collide with everything that you come across in life. All of this can equip you to continue living on with hope, fulfillment, and purpose, no matter what happens. Shifting from the song, let's now talk about the characters I drew here. On the left upper corner would be Anaxa from Honkai Star Rail, and on the right upper corner Al-Haytham from Genshin Impact. On the left lower corner is Satan from Obey Me, and on the right lower corner would be Ten from Idolish 7. Finally, in the center we have Shu from Ensemble Stars. All of them are rather calm and confident. They can also come across as cold. Anaxa and Al-Haytham are scholarly people skilled in this field. Satan likes detective stories and reading, while both Ten and Shu like music, and Shu additionally likes fashion as well. In each of their respective fields, these characters are invested and ambitious. Alhaitham may be a bit of an exception as he focuses more on working efficiently rather than striving for more, even though others describe him as having potential to achieve more. This is also due to his rational, logical nature, something I see across these characters as well. Something especially Shu and Ten may connect to is perfectionism and ambition, having high expectations and striving to do better. One connection to the song Collide with these characters would be this: developing openness to let faith collide with their fears. Anaxa, Alhaitham, Satan, Ten, and Shu, all of them have a bit of a one-sided mind and stubbornness. They're very involved in what fascinates them and in their own way of thinking. They may also get some of their self-worth, purpose, and confidence from these things. I could imagine that one of their biggest fears would be losing the music, rationality, or intellect, for example, but it's important to realize that you cannot always depend on your own mind or your interests, that these things and you are flawed, that even if you train, read, or practice more and more, you will always be limited in your abilities. It's nice to have high expectations and dreams, but it can also be very frustrating if that's what you base your entire self and life around. That's where facing the fear here comes in. If as a fear we take losing one's own capabilities or interests and making this collide with faith, these characters could achieve freedom from making their purpose and self depend on temporary things. Having faith in their interest or in their own capabilities only is dangerous here, as these things will always lack completeness, perfection, and eternal meaning. So the faith that they should use to confront their fears in a helpful way would not be the faith found in these worldly things, but faith in what transcends this life, made everything exist, and gives everything its purpose or meaning through this, something they can find and keep alive deep inside. As a final song for this video, I talk about another song from the same album as Sick of It, the second song in this video. While Sick of It is a louder, more dramatic and intense song, this one has a more peaceful, positive and uplifting energy. Battle Cry describes situations where you're on the edge of giving up or hiding all your hopes in the verses of the song, leading to passages like "It's not over, we're one step away, and we will bend but we will never break." The chorus then includes this powerful line: "If we believe we can't lose, even mountains will move," as well as "They can't take us down if we stand our ground." What I find nice here is this separation into the problems and solution part once again. There seems to be this common thread in Skillet's songs, at least for this video, where fears, problems or challenges are addressed along with a way to overcome them. It gives you motivation and hope, something we all need in life, and especially when I look back to the time when I first discovered their music, I understand why it affected me so much. It included the empowerment and encouragement I needed to hear, to find something worth living for, to finally find a reason to live that's not dependent on my own or worldly imperfections, interests or achievements. When it comes to Battle Cry, as the title suggests, it's also about a kind of battle. We may find ourselves in different battles in day-to-day lives, whether that's with our experiences, circumstances, other people or ourselves. Life is challenging, but when we have and shout out this battle cry that the song focuses on, we can face anything. How do we get this battle cry? Well, in the song, one passage describes the battle cry like this: "It's our faith, it's our life, this is our battle cry." I'd interpret this as making the battle cry you find in faith the base of your life, and from never giving up that faith no matter what you're facing, you'll be able to see the power that comes with this faith. Another thing I really like about the first passages is this section. You're on the edge of giving up, you know I feel it too, you won't be alone because I'm with you. It connects to what I mentioned with the first song Savior, that there is someone there who knows everything about you, who fully understands you, who is the reason that you are here, who will never stop loving you and being there for you. It's what the faith described in this and the other songs from this video is all about. As for their characters here, we have Kentaro from Hypnosis Mic, Xingqiu from Genshin Impact, Yuki from Idolish 7 and Yosuga from Olympia Soiree. Kentaro and Xingqiu like stories and books a lot. Kentaro is a famous novelist and Xingqiu likes to read. Yuki is very good at dealing with music. He has learned to deal with people in a better way over time, and now he is also involved and successful with acting, for example. Yosuga owns a bathhouse and appears to be very good and charming when dealing with people, but this is also a bit of a mask he puts on due to his distrust in people, partly due to his past experiences and position in society. Speaking of a mask, that's something I see as similarity between these characters. They're able to put on different masks and emphasize with others, whether it's through stories they write or read or roles they act out. Then all of these characters have a kind of gentle and calm aura as well. Maybe you've already noticed by now that I grouped the characters for the illustrations based on these kinds of atmospheres they have, drawing characters together that appear a bit similar in that way. Feel free to let me know which of the characters included in this video you know, and or which of the groups you like most in the comments. Finally, for a connection between the song and the characters, here I'd like to refer back to the quotes: "If we believe we can't lose, even mountains will move, and they can't take us down if we stand our ground." These passages really remind me of stories or storytelling in general, where you may have a hero that never gives up and that achieves great things through what they believe in. As characters that are able to see the world with such a storytelling lens, I imagine this as a topic relevant to Kentaro, Xingqiu, Yuki, and Yosuga. One thing I find nice here is the kind of layered way that stories appear in fictional worlds and stories. We as humans can make the characters from stories that we come up with experience stories in their own world. Another thought I'd like to add would be about thinking that some things are only possible in stories or through acting and putting on masks, and thinking that stories are superior or better than reality due to this. Where this can become dangerous is when we make the fictional worlds, characters, and stories more important and valuable to us than real life, using them as a kind of escapism, even though all of these stories are based on reality in the first place, and we all have to deal with reality eventually. The power of imagination, storytelling, acting, and emphasizing with characters is amazing. Yes, what's even more encouraging to me is that beyond this life, a place that is more perfect and better than anything we could ever imagine exists. There are many fascinating and beautiful creations on this world, but there's something even better out there, transcending space and time. If you enjoy thinking about fictional worlds and characters like I do, I think it is important to look at what we can learn from them in a non-harmful way, without making those worlds our own world, but seeing them as explorations that can benefit our lives if used in a mindful way. With that, we've gone through all the songs, characters, and illustrations for this video. The first song, Savior, focused on the inevitable answer to questioning purpose. The second song, Sick of It, described one's own faults and imperfections, realizing and overcoming them. The third song, Collide, was about encountering a never-ending, uplifting hope, giving you freedom from your faults and fears. And the fourth song, Battle Cry, pointed out the power that comes with never giving up faith, that it is still a battle, but if you remain steady, you will be victorious. All of this was kind of a journey, discovering purpose and facing life's challenges equipped with this purpose, developing an appreciation for life and hope through this. Which of the songs and the messages connected to them did you like the most? You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you'd like to support me in some way, feel free to check out my Patreon, where you can find screen-recorded process videos of my art and more. Other than this, leaving a like on this video and subscribing would also mean a lot. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, bye!